Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I am Mercedes, and this is the Frugal Life with Mercedes. Today, we are going to talk about overconsumption, okay? Overconsumption is ruining your budget. I guarantee it, okay? I know I overconsume too. But when you go on social media of any kind, you always see all these things that people are buying because it's a great deal. They saw some influencer with it, their cousin, mother, friend, neighbor has it, and they feel like they have to have it. And it's not realistic and it's not sustaining to continue to overconsume. I'm not even going to get into the environmental impacts of overconsumption. I'm going to keep this more close to home in your own personal house. I challenge you to walk around your house, basement, garage, attic, and look at all the things that are just sitting. Maybe you've never even taken them out of the box. They still have tags on them. They still are in the bag you bought them in. And you have all these good intentions, but the road to hell was paved with good intentions, guys. You know what I mean? And then we justify it. It's like when you're in the store and you're like, but that's a really great deal. Or, all my friends have that. Or this such and such famous person has this. And I'm not just talking about like cheap little trinkets. I'm also talking about expensive stuff. And people also do it like as a status symbol. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many people have you seen on social media, whether they be famous or not, posting with some overpriced, ugly purse as a status symbol? And I'm really encouraging you guys, like, don't ever buy anything as a status symbol, okay? Now, I understand if you came from nothing, or if you worked really hard and you want to buy yourself something nice, or you want to elevate your life, sometimes people start off one way and then they end up being able to buy themselves a really nice vehicle and a really nice house and bags and vacations and this and this and this and this. That's great as long as they are doing it solely for themselves, not for the likes on social media, not to stick it to their ex, not to show people like, look what I've got. It all is connected. And I am going to do videos more breaking down some of those other things, but I'm trying to keep it like about overconsumption. But at the same time, I have to bring up that other stuff because there's a reason why people overconsume. What you see other people doing that influence you, or that you admire, or people you spend time with, they will influence your purchasing. You might go shopping with your girlfriend and she buys, $500 worth of stuff and you buy $20 worth of stuff. And some people would be like, oh, well, she's going to think I don't have money, or, you know what I mean? And then that causes you to overconsume. And then you come home and you're like, this isn't even stuff I would wear or anything. And then you end up returning it, or it ends up sitting in your closet or whatever. And just be really mindful about what you're buying, when you're buying it, why you're buying it. And don't just buy something to buy something. Like an example of a couple of months ago, Brandon and I were shopping at Target and we had our shopping list, and I always check the clearance section. It's just something that I do. And there was a set of pots and pans. Now, we have pots and pans that his aunt gave us. They do not match. Some of them have lids, some of them don't. Perfectly good set. She gave them to us. She didn't need them anymore. Great. Love it. Take it. But Brandon and I would like to get a really nice set of pots and pans. I've never had a really nice set of pots and pans. I've always had hand-me-downs or things that came from the thrift store, and there's nothing wrong with that. They've served me well. But I've always wanted hand pick. Like, I really like those. Oh, what are they called? Like, it's like a Dutch oven, but you use it on the stove top. Like, it's like the pan material or whatever. And I feel like I'd get a lot of use out of that. And because I do such big batch cooking, I'd like to get a really big, like, stew pot, and all that. But those are, like, not a huge concern. I am making do with what I got. But when we went, Brandon and I were both tempted because they had them on clearance, but they were still a couple $100 that we were not intending to spend. That doesn't mean we didn't have the money to spend that. It was just, for purchases like that, him and I like to have a detailed conversation, set a budget. Research is really important to Brandon, like researching the quality and the materials and like product reviews and all that kind of stuff. And so I told him, I said, we're fine with the ones that your aunt gave us. I said, they're perfectly fine. They cook things. I said, we will worry about new pots and pans another day. And he was like, you're right, and we agreed on that. But how easy would it have been just to, oh, well, the ones I have aren't good enough, and just stick it in the cart and then toss the other ones, even though there is nothing wrong with the ones that we have. And that kind of goes along also with like aesthetics. Like, people are so into aesthetics now. And I'm not making fun of anybody, but you don't need to throw out all your plates because now, burgundy plates are the in thing, or sometimes people will just take those other ones and stick them in the basement, and then they'll stick the next set in the basement. And, it's just always like replacing things that don't need to be replaced and bringing more and more and more and more into the house of things that you might not even need. You probably don't. Or you don't even end up using. You know what I mean? Because again, like I said earlier, the good intentions. If you do not bake, you don't need a KitchenAid mixer. Like, if you don't cook, do you know what I mean? Like, I've known people that had every kitchen gadget and tool and gizmo, and they don't even cook. They just sit because they look pretty. Like, but this person had good intentions, but really they just needed a microwave. They did takeout and frozen meals, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your lifestyle, that's cool. But you have to recognize who you really are. Not, if you want to start baking, then just start baking and then slowly start buying the things. But you don't want to spend a couple of grand on stuff that's just going to collect dust in your kitchen. Like, you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Same thing. If you want to change your style, the way that you dress, that's great. But you don't want to take all your clothes, throw them away or donate them, and then spend thousands of dollars on a brand new wardrobe, and it's stuff that you're like, okay, I'm not really into this. Do you know what I mean? Like, so just be very cautious of overconsumption. And before you buy something, whether it's small or big, think, why am I doing this? Do I genuinely even like this item, or am I being influenced by my neighbor, by my friend, by somebody I saw on social media, by some celebrity? Can I afford it? And when I say afford it, I don't mean just swipe the credit card. Like, can you afford it? Do you need it? Do you know what I mean? Like, all those things need to come into play, okay? And I'm not pointing the fingers. You guys know I got a stockpile. That's overconsumption as well. But I don't know, I guess I see that as a little bit different. But if I had all that stuff and I wouldn't let my man use any of it, and it just sat there, well, that would be kind of silly. That would kind of defeat the purpose of having the stockpile, so we don't have to buy stuff full price. So anyway, guys, just something that I've been thinking about, and I hope you guys got something out of that. And just remember, Overconsumption is killing your budget. I guarantee it, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel. If you did not know, I have an Instagram, The Frugal Life with Mercedes. Until next time, guys, bye.